Yes, you guys, welcome back. Very quick intro today. I've got a ton of things to delve into and speak about. So, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'm bringing back a 5 talking points video, and if you like today's video, which I hope you do, then you'll smash that like button and help me get over 2,500 likes. So without wasting any more time, we get straight in with the first talking point, and that's in regards to Pulisic's return. Yesterday, Pulisic returned back in a big way for the team. He came on, he scored the equaliser, and was this really any surprise? I don't think so. Very interestingly, after the game, Pulisic confirmed that Lampard imparted some words with the player before he left the bench. He said that Lampard told him to go out there and win us the game. So the fact that Lampard can make that statement, it really tells you how he sees Christian Pulisic. He knows what he can bring to the team, and he understands the goal threat the player possesses due to his movement inside the box, around the final third, and his willingness to actually create things and take that responsibility. Now, his pass completion wasn't the highest, but it really did not matter. He wasn't there to start playing like Pirlo, he was there to make things happen inside the box, to drive at Aston Villa, and it's no surprise that we saw Pulisic's trademark run inside the box where he got us the equaliser. His heat map does reflect his willingness to attack the spaces inside the box and his confidence to make something happen for the team. It's great to know that Pulisic has been responding well to every single challenge that Lampard has given to the player. It shows his mental confidence, his mental resilience, and if you're asking me, he must be a dead cert to start that game against Man City this Thursday. We now move on to the second talking point, and it's time to talk about Kante's new role. Now, I've been seeing this debate during the rounds on socials. Is Kante now going to be playing permanently as our new defensive midfield player? What does this mean for Jorginho and Billy Gilmour? Is Lampard making the best use of Kante? Now, the popular argument that I saw made against Kante on socials was that yes, even though people could admit that Kante was very good yesterday, the reason for that was due to Aston Villa giving him time and space on the ball. He was never pressed whatsoever. Aston Villa as a team didn't press us in our own half whatsoever. And against Man City on Thursday, a team that presses you high, a team that closes you down in your own half, Kante will naturally struggle. Kante hasn't dealt with the press. How is he going to cope against Man City? I feel like he would be wrong to use in that area. Now, here's where I give my thoughts and opinions, you guys. I can respect the opinions I'm seeing on social media. I understand the mindset and the thinking behind them. But for me, as I'm constantly saying, Kante is more than the sum of his parts. Playing under Sarri really improved the technical aspects of Kante's game. You know, Sarri needed his midfield players to make those vertical runs out wide. You know, tactically, that was so we can help the fullbacks push forwards to create those overloads in the flanks. And you have to understand, to play in that role, to play in that manner, means that you're regularly receiving the ball in the half spaces, means that you're regularly playing with your back to the opposition, meaning that you need to have that press-resistant ability, that ability to move the ball very quickly, and that ability to play out of pressure. Kante's shown that for how many seasons now? How long has he displayed that ability? And it was those same qualities that I saw that made me naturally think that, okay, Kante can translate this part of his game, this part that he's added to his game, playing in a more defensive midfield role. Yesterday, Kante demonstrated his excellent passing technique. Yes, I agree that Aston Villa did not close him down whatsoever. But for me, if Kante wasn't meant for this role, he would have struggled even more playing in space. You know, we would have seen him struggling with his decision making. We would have seen him struggle with his weight of his passes and the accuracy of his passes too. We would have seen Kante exclusively play the ball on the ground, never attempting any switch balls whatsoever. And we would have seen slowness in the speed of Kante's passes. We never saw this once against Aston Villa, and the main reason for that is because Kante is a world-class player. If you're world class, you are going to make certain aspects of the game look very easy and look like child's play. Now I've spoken about Kante's game, I now want to speak about the future positive implications of using Kante as a defensive midfielder. Now, one massive advantage that he does have over Jorginho is that Kante stops counterattacks. For a team like us that counter presses, that pushes a lot of men forward, you need to have your DM picking up the best positions constantly, which is one thing that Kante just has mastered in this game. He finds the right positions every single time, which means that when it comes to stopping a counter attack, the distance he has to cover isn't too great. And with Kante's exceptional ability to win back possession, to win those 50-50s that most players can't do, hard and clean, this gives us the platform to kickstart new attacks. Kante has the legs to cover so much distance. He sniffs out the danger too. He can play the forward passes, the switch field passes, and most importantly, the tempo. Kante had the tempo on point in yesterday's game. At not one point was Kante slowing down the play with his passes. And actually against Man City, you'd rather have Kante playing as that DM, because at times when we have to keep our position in our own half, when Man City are applying that pressure, well, out of Jorginho and Kante, I know who I prefer to be in front of my back four. Kante's made a name for himself, bringing back possession in these areas, evading the press, and kickstarting a counter-attack. But anyway, you guys, to explain the title for today's video, the main reason why you need to be excited by Kante's new role are the implications it means for our midfield this season and for our midfield next season. For me, I've constantly said in predicted lineup videos that I do want to see a Kante playing DM alongside a Mason Mount and a Loftus-Cheek. For me, this midfield three would be the most best balanced midfield, offensively and defensively. Kante sitting allows the two midfielders to attack. That's the most important thing. That was one thing in which Lampard was able to profit from himself as a player when he had guys like Mikel and Makelele sitting deeper to allow your Balaks, Essians and Lampards to attack the spaces inside the box. So just take these principles and apply them to next season. Next season where we're going to have a Ziyech. Next season where we might even potentially have Kai Havertz playing. Having Kante sitting deeper means that you can play your Masons and Kais together in midfield. You can play your Rubens and Kais together. Kante gives you that platform to really attack. For me, this team needs a defensive midfielder over a Regista. And you guys in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you feel like Kante is the right player, the best player, the only player to play in this deeper role? Or do you think that Jorginho is still the king in this area? We now move on to the third talking point, and we need to speak about Mason Mount's big performance in yesterday's game. Now with the return of Ruben, with Barkley showing form, with the signing of Ziyech and the potential signing of Kai Havertz for next season, things were looking quite peak for Mason Mount. Was the player going to lose his role? Was the player going to become a backup squad option instead? In yesterday's game, Mason Mount proved why he's still going to play a crucial part and a crucial role under Frank Lampard. Mason displayed top quality fitness. He was constantly running and probing around the final third between the lines, creating that ever so important space for his teammates. Mason Mount is the definition of a pro team player. He's constantly involved in the build-up. He's constantly involved in that momentum to create opportunities. And this was displayed in yesterday's game. As you guys can see from the heat map, you can see that Mason picked up a lot of positions down the right hand side. The important tactical aspects, and one thing that Mason Mount is just so amazing at, and was the major reason why I see him as such a big team player that this team does need, is his willingness to create space for his teammates. Against Aston Villa, he was regularly taking out two players in the wider positions by positioning himself in between them. Now the tactical reasons for this was that it freed up the space for Azpilicueta down the right hand side, and it's no surprise that as the second half progressed, as Aston Villa got more tired, as we created even more space down the flanks, that we were finally able to create a goal from an Azpilicueta cross. That was Mason's first involvement in helping us create that first goal. His second involvement was increasing the speed and tempo of our game by creating that quick 1-2 with Olivier Giroud. Perfect first touch, who then cut back to Giroud to get the second goal. Now, unfortunately, involvements like this, you can't really quantify with stats. You can only see this for yourself by using your eyes. They were two big examples of the positive impact that Mason brought from our midfield, and from seeing his performance, from seeing him playing a deeper role where I feel maybe midfield might be his best position for the future, you can see how he has all the credentials to be a complete midfield player. He has that press resistance, he has the engine to run for days. Defensively, he's very good. Yesterday he won 100% of his tackles. He has that 1v1 threat as we saw in that game versus Villa. The hold up play, the ability to roam too, Mason can do it all. But as I stressed, the main takeaway you should get from Mason Mount is his ability to create space for his teammates. Mason is only 21 years old, he will only get better. I am so excited to see how he develops and blossoms. And now we move on to the fourth talking point, and we need to speak about the return of Loftus-Cheek. Now yesterday, Ruben finally started after 13 months, and the reality was he didn't set the world on fire. He created 18 passes, completing only 16. He attempted one dribble only, and by looking at his heat map and by looking at the player's heat map, his overall involvement in the game just really wasn't there, and that was the main reason why I felt like we were playing with 10 men with Ruben on the field. There were some positives though, you guys, and the positive for me was I liked how Ruben was thinking. Now we could see that when we created those dangerous opportunities in the first half, that Loftus-Cheek was in the correct and right area. For me, it was that lack of match sharpness that stopped him completing that extra yard or 2 yards to, put the ball in the back of the net. But you can still see how the player's thinking, how he acts in the system, the positions he finds, and for me, as time goes on, as he gets more games, more minutes, as he builds that match sharpness, you're going to see a very special player returning back and improving this team. For me, I don't see Ruben continuing as a left winger throughout this season. It's only circumstantial because if we don't have Pedro and Hudson-Odoi is currently injured. Once he's fully back, I'm definitely sure we are going to see him play his normal number 8 role. He's going to be a big player for us. He just needs time to build his match fitness and sharpness. And you guys, on that point, we now move on to the final talking point for today's video. And I want to stress the importance of fullbacks. Now, in yesterday's game, we attempted 37 crosses, only completing 7 of them. Now, the most important thing is that 2 key crosses were played by Aston, who got both assists to win us the game. But the use of our crosses really just demonstrates and really emphasizes how Lampard wants us to be. He wants a team that overloads the wide areas, that creates its opportunities out wide, and the fullbacks play a very big role in that. Both Azpilicueta and Alonso played nearly 100 touches of the ball in yesterday's game, and for me, the most worrying thing was the lack of quality at times. Now yes, I know that Aspi got 2 assists in the game in the end, however the context for me is that we are playing against a relegation Aston Villa who were obviously getting tired, and I feel like it was a high volume of crossing opportunities that would eventually lead to something. However, my question is though, if you were to play this game against a stronger team, can you get away with attempting 37 crosses having minimal effect in the final third? I don't think so. If Reece was fit and ready to start, I'm sure that this wouldn't even be a talking point. However, could Aspi and Alonso's performance in yesterday's game translate to a game against a much bigger and better team? I definitely don't think that would be the case. For me, it's quite obvious that we still need a proper dynamic left back to really elevate Lampard's system and take this team to the next level. We can see how Lampard wants us to play, but we just don't have that fullback quality just yet that we need at the highest level. Anyway, you guys, this is most likely going to be a pretty big video. So many talking points to think about. I would have spoken about Giroud and Willian because they played very important roles in helping us get this win yesterday. But you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you took something away from this video. Add to the discussion. Get involved in the comment section below. I'm EFC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.